everyone, welcome to Shell Sugar Rush. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today we're going to be making my most requested cake. This is a chocolate Oreo cake. So if you like cakes like this, stick around and see how to make it. You'll see that it's easy and it is very delicious. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the notifications bell so you'll be notified when I upload more delicious treats like this. So let's make an Oreo cake. Okay everyone, so for our Oreo cake, I am going to put in our bowl 2 large eggs, 1/2 cup of buttermilk, 1/2 cup of oil, and I'm using canola oil. You can use vegetable oil, whatever your preference is, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm just going to give that a good mix with the hand mixer. There we go. All right, so nice and light and fluffy. And now I'm going to combine our dry ingredients, and I have here 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, and 3/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa. And I'm also going to add in 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I'm going to add in about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And also for flavor, I am going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of espresso powder. This is optional. And we're just going to whisk that together real good to incorporate it. Now we're going to combine our dry ingredients into our wet ingredients. Okay, this is going to be thick, and that's okay, because now we're going to start adding our 1 cup of boiling water. Okay, we've got all that combined, and just give it a good stir. Make sure everything's off the bottom and everything's incorporated. And I've got 2 8-inch pans just sprayed and lined with parchment. And I'm going to go ahead and just put my batter in those. And I want to kind of even it. You could do this on a scale, but I'm just going to eyeball it. Okay, and now what I like to do here is actually break up my Oreos into the batter. So I'm just going to kind of crumble those and just spread it around. I like to bake mine straight into the cake. Okay, and our oven is preheated to 350 degrees, and we're going to pop these in there, and they're going to go anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes. So you want to keep an eye on these because they don't take very long to bake. Okay, off to the oven we go. Okay, so our cakes are out of the oven, and they baked up quite nicely. They went about 25 minutes, so they cooled down just a bit for about 15 minutes or so. So we're going to just pop them out of the pan. And I'm just going to let them finish cooling on a cooling rack. I'm going to pull off that parchment paper. Alright, so we'll let them finish cooling and make some icing. Okay guys, so we're going to get our icing going, or frosting as some call it. Let me know in the comments what you refer to it as. Sometimes I say icing and sometimes I catch myself saying frosting. So it's just habit. Okay, so we're going to start with 1 cup of butter, and I am using 1/2 cup of unsalted, and I am using 1/2 cup of salted butter. Okay, now if you center. And then we'll go ahead and get some frosting on there. Just spread that around real good. And then we'll get to our sides. And you guys, I'm not doing a crumb coat on this cake just because the icing technically has crumbs in it from the Oreos, so there's really no need to do a crumb coat. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a nice layer here and smooth it out, and then get our ganache ready for our drip. Okay, so you just want to go around real quick and just kind of smooth everything out real nice. Once we've got our sides smooth, we want to just kind of bring in our edges here. This will give us some sharp, crisp edges and a smooth top. Okay, so I'm going to pop this back in the fridge for a few minutes while we get a ganache drip ready, and then we'll finish it. Okay guys, so for our ganache, I've taken 4 ounces of Ghirardelli milk chocolate wafers, okay, and put it in a little container with a 1/4 cup of heavy cream, and I have just microwaved that for 30 seconds, and I'm going to see, I'm stirring it together, just kind of see where we're at with it, and that looks really good. So, and of course you'll want to let it cool down before you drip it on your cake, but you don't want to let it cool down too much either, because you don't want it to set and not drip well. So I'm going to take this, and this is setting up quite nicely and quite quickly. So I'm going to take this and just pour it into a squeeze bottle. I just like to use the squeeze bottle for my drips. I feel like I have better control that way. And it's cooled down quite nicely. I mean, it really didn't take any more than 30 seconds just to get this melted and together. So I'm going to go ahead and grab our cake so we can do our drip and get that on there. Okay, so our cake's been chilling in the fridge. It's cool to touch. Our chocolate ganache has cooled down just a bit. And of course, the cool cake is going to help it set as well. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of do a little test. That looks pretty good, actually. It's still going a little bit, so, you know, we can always let it cool down a little more if we wish to. But that's pretty good. And you can control the drip by the amount that you let drip as well. So you could do a little more, a little less. Okay, there we go. And there's our drip done. Beautiful drip. Okay. So now I'm going to put this in the fridge just to chill and set that drip before we put our piping on the top. Otherwise, our piping on the top will be slipping off. But you know what? We can go ahead and do our piping around the bottom, because the drip won't affect that. Okay, so our drip's done. Our piping around the bottom is done. So we're going to go ahead and pop this in the fridge and let that ganache set before we do the top. Okay guys, so last thing we need to do is just decorate the top of our cake, and our ganache is set. So I'm going to take my bigger piping bag here. I have just a star tip on it, and I'm going to put some swirls on the top. I like to just kind of go across from each other with mine, and then go in between those. This just helps me ensure that I kind of get them somewhat even. And then I'll just take my Oreo and just put one right between each dollop of icing. Okay, and I'm just pressing it in just a little bit so it can adhere to the ganache and stay in place. There we go. And our cake is done. Okay everyone, so our delicious chocolate Oreo cake is complete. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. And Don't forget, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you will be notified when I upload more videos like this one. Thank you for your support. See you next time.